question number 10. This is from the SAT number 17. This is the April 2019 QAS test. This is the last question from the first passage. So let's jump in. So it starts by saying in line 97, the word benediction primarily serves to do something. So the way to solve this is we need to go back to the lines that are mentioned, look for this word benediction, and ask ourselves basically what role is it playing within the overall passage. So we'll go up to lines 97, and here's where benediction is mentioned. And it says, she put her hand on mine, a benediction. From then we were friends. And let's just step back a little bit to get a little more context of what's going on in the story. So we start up here basically with the narrator and Celia sharing this semi-awkward moment about Celia's daughter where she goes to school. Then we have Celia sort of thinking for a moment and then responding with her own immigration story, sort of creating this point of connection between Celia and the narrator. Then it says that Celia put her hand on the narrator's hand, and then the narrator says this was a benediction. From then we were friends, so there's this point of connection. Benediction in general means blessing, and it typically has a religious connotation. It's used I think like maybe in Catholic churches it's more often used. There's a benediction. But here it doesn't really seem to be necessarily too religious. It just seems to be meaning blessing in the sense of something positive, in the sense of something very encouraging, in the sense of a meaningful moment. And I think that's the best sense to interpret this. So basically Celia is putting her hand on the narrator's hand, and there's this moment of connection, of positive feeling between the two of them, and they become friends. So let's see if we have an answer choice that will sort of mention and highlight that. So A says that the word benediction is used to stress the importance of religion to Celia and the narrator. So I think this is wrong for a number of reasons. Like I said, benediction does have a religious connotation, so that's probably why they put this answer choice in there. But it's not specifically about religion in this moment here. And really, none of the whole entire passage is about religion, or does it suggest that Celia and the narrator are religious. So it would be really strange to, like, as the last sentence, to put something about the fact that religion is important to Celia and the narrator. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a theme that has to carry on through the rest of the passage. And we would need more evidence to say that this benediction is specifically religious. So let's get rid of A. B says that the word is used to imply that the narrator views Celia as an authority figure. I understand why this answer choice is in there as well, why a student might be confused by it. If you think about what a benediction is in the religious setting, I think it's typically the priest or an authority figure who's going to offer the blessing or the benediction to someone who is sort of not inferior, but someone who's lower in status, right? So there is an authority figure and someone beneath them. But that's not really the dynamic that's being established here in the scene, that Celia is this authority figure. It actually seems to be like a peer relationship, an equal relationship, because they're becoming friends, right? So this might be even slightly more plausible, although even then I'm not sure it would be true, if basically by the end of this the narrator comes to view Celia as like a surrogate mother or a type of mother, so there is that dynamic. But I don't think there's enough evidence for that at all. It's not establishing Celia as an authority figure, but really just as a friend, as a peer, as someone who has positive sentiment, right, and a connection. C says that the word benediction is used to emphasize how meaningful Celia's gesture was for the narrator. I think that this is pretty good. It's stripping it of the religious connotation, stripping it of this sense of authority or this new dynamic between them. I think it's pretty neutral, right? Just how meaningful, how significant the gesture was for the narrator. And I think that's right. So she's using benediction, using this religious language, just to emphasize that this was a significant moment. D says that the word is used to demonstrate how eloquently Celia spoke during her conversation with the narrator. I don't think this is too true. We might say that Celia did speak eloquently. The narrator might even think that Celia spoke eloquently. But there's really nothing in this last sentence that indicates that this word benediction is used to describe Celia's words and the fact that she was so eloquent. And in fact, it's really a response to an action. It's a response to Celia putting her hand on the narrator's, not a response to Celia's words. So for that reason, we should get rid of D, which is going to leave us with answer choice C, which we should choose as our correct answer for question number 10.